I'm going to be really careful how I tell this. There's,
I love that setup.
Yeah. I think Google Docs is like killing songwriting.
Yeah. I've always compared church and a club as literally the same thing.
Naked people in body paint painted to the same pattern as the wallpaper. Yeah. Like, how do you even come up with that idea?
It's officially Good Boy rather than Good Boys.
Good boy. Yeah, I know.
Sounds a bit creepy saying that.
It is. Ethan's at a wedding today.
Yeah, it's a shame that we couldn't get it in when you both were in, but I think also, I don't know how I'd have 3 people in here.
True, and I've got some things I've been meaning to say about Ethan that I wanted to put out into the world.
Yeah, let's just dish all the goss. How are you, man?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
How about yourself?
Yeah, good. I always find it, I say this so many times on the podcast, like we've literally just spent 10 minutes chatting to each other and then asking how you are again. It's just a bit fucking weird.
Yeah, I gave you the full answer just before.
Yeah.
And, people will never know.
No, yeah, he actually hates life right now, everybody.
No, I'm doing very good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying like creativity, creating.
You also just literally just dropped a bombshell that you've just released another. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it.
We definitely can.
But like you just released a solo project called Carte Blanche.
Yeah. So it's me and another friend of mine called Tancred, and we making kind of early 2000s indie style music. Which is really fun. It's something we were doing for fun and then has just turned into like a full-on artist project.
That's what it's about though, right?
Yeah, it is.
I think that's... it was actually one of the questions that I kind of wanted to dig in with you today about like you guys as Good Boys you're probably in like 3-4 billion streamer, right? It like overall, which is an immense achievement. There's not many artists in the electronic world, right?
Yep.
I've been talking to like record label people and a lot of them literally quote your records as like the last major hits in dance music.
Wow. Yeah. We ruined it for everyone.
or you just set a bar so high,
right,
that like it's hard to achieve that nowadays in the way the climate is with the amount of music that's getting released and the like speed of what music gets forgotten about. But I want to go back into that like having fun of making music. When you release those records, when you're sat in a room, you and Ethan, like how do you create fun in the room again when there's it from an external point of view, right? From if I was in your shoes, there would be so much pressure to like achieve that again.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange journey in the early days because we were just a group of friends who were all writing songs together.
Yeah. And
we made like this one song in a moment of inspiration that kind of went around the world, which is that Piece of Your Heart tune.
Yeah.
And we all still had jobs, like full-time jobs.
What were you doing?
Me and Ethan both worked for like a church. So I was doing like the music and he was doing like the kids, like looking after the kids on a Sunday. And so all of a sudden we were having to take like annual leave to go into the studio with people who are like, would have been like legends to us and still are legends to us.
Yeah.
But I remember the pressure in that moment being like all consuming, like what, like, how the heck do we follow this up?
Yeah.
And like, thank goodness we were so blessed that we followed it up a couple of times, like with Lose Control with MEDUZA. And then as a writer, like I wrote Paradise with those guys as well and a couple of other songs. So that time was very stressful. Now I feel like no pressure at all.
Really?
And we like have totally reshaped how we do the writing. So we're like, instead of going in every day with different people, it's like, these are our 4 people. We're going to go away for 2 weeks and make 10 songs and then cut that down to 5 and refine them. And then just do that every, 6 weeks.
And then are you still pitching that or are you like or are they coming out as records for you guys, or like how does that like what's that process afterwards?
Well, those records are specifically Good Boys records. And I just have found that there's way less pressure because um, I'm on a bit of a like high horse about this at the moment. I think that if you go in with different people every day, nobody's willing to take a risk because you only have this like 4-hour period together. So we can't try something that's like all the way to the right or all the way to the left because we might like waste the time.
Yeah.
Whereas if we have like 5 days together, you know, we can try something mental all the way on the right, because if we waste a few hours, then that doesn't matter. We can, you know, we can do something the next day or the next 3-hour period. So
how do you like schedule that out though? Because it's like taking like a few weeks to do sessions like that. Like, what is that on a schedule?
Yeah, well, I have a bit of a strange schedule in general because obviously I'm a touring DJ.
Yeah.
And then I also have like a full-time sort of career as like a songwriter aside from Good Boys. So the way I'm trying to do it, touch wood.
That's not wood. That's fake. That's fake wood.
well, in an ideal world, we're trying to do like seasons. So you do like obviously May through September. You're not going to do any writing.
Yeah.
And then I went and did like 6 weeks straight off the back of our tours in the summer, just writing for other people. And then we did 2 weeks writing for Good Boys, and then hopefully we can just do big blocks of time.
Yeah.
Now we're a little bit more established as a DJ. It's easier because we can say like, this is when we're going to be touring.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, we just had to take shows
whenever,
as and when they came in.
Yeah, like, literally, like we need to earn money,
and that was like that was impossible because you're essentially just doing 2 jobs.
Yeah, when you're doing these sessions, like long period of sessions, are you going to like location studios or is it like house studios?
We have been doing house studios. So we would go to like one of our friends has a house in Italy.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I know. Like we're very lucky, but it's like a family home, and his mum, bless her, like came the week before and like cooked all of the food and like put it in trays in the freezer. So we just had to like, it was actually awesome.
Epic.
It's horses for courses at the end of the day. But for me, I just want to feel relaxed.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm like in the studio, it's just so much pressure.
No, I totally agree, and it's something that I've always wanted to do is build a studio. Like, there's plenty of studios like this, but like build a studio where I live in the countryside and just like have a place that like has a gym, has a sauna, has a steam room, has like barbecue, like cooking outside, and like views that look over the hills, and create an environment that actually is healthy to create in. But also it's like, I think we all, as writers, as DJs, it's like, it's constant, right? It's the like, we're writing so much music.
Yep.
So much of that music never gets heard. And a lot of that music's written in pressure as well, because it's like, oh, you're in a session, we have to succeed.
Yep.
And I think like building a place that actually is like a bit of a break and allows you to create in fun and relaxation, I think we're just going to get so much better music.
Yeah, and I've really found that to be true. And then also bringing people in that have like complementary skill sets.
Yeah.
So like it allows you to like take breaks during the writing. So like if we're all in a studio, you know, the person who is like, we had somebody who's like wicked with vocals, somebody who's like great at finishing production, myself who is probably like a lyricist, I would say.
You're good on the keys as well.
Yeah. But my main thing would be like probably writing lyrics, I'd say. And then Ethan, who's great with like melody and production stuff. So I think what's cool about doing it that way is like, it wasn't like everybody has to be sat here like the whole time. You have to be sat, even if you're not doing anything. Like while we're recording the vocals, Ethan and Connor, one of the other guys, would just go for a swim.
That's sick.
Yeah, and it is, because then the same it gives me a freedom that's like when I'm trying to like figure out exactly what it is I want to say, I can just wander off.
Yeah.
And this is like I don't know if this is like a writing hack, but I got this like Yamaha CP reface keyboard,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
something,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's battery powered.
So you can just walk
So I
around.
literally could like just go and find a
Oh,
bench
that's amazing.
and just sit down and do the lyrics.
Do you find it easier to write alone?
Do you know what? I'm on a journey with it. I've never written alone. As in, I write every day at my house, but like in sessions, I'm definitely like a collaborator.
Yeah.
But I've found now that with Goodboys stuff, I love collaborating like at the start and at the end, but in the middle, because I have something that I want to say.
Yeah.
I just need to go and get like the 80% of the lyric part done.
Yeah.
So that then we can like, we've had the idea together and we finish it together. But otherwise, I don't want to like dilute what it is that I'm trying to say.
Like, I've never even thought about this, but like a lot of dance music or electronic music, a lot of the lyrics are generally around similar topics, right? I guess all songs are around similar topics, like lost somebody's broken up with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's literally like, it's always the similar topics. And it's, it cracks me up because every time I'm like, for fuck's sake, this is just another one about your boyfriend that's broken up with you or your girlfriend that's broken up with you. But like, where do you have like a notes of like subjects where you're like, I've had that happen to me today, or somebody said that to me and it's like sparked an interest, which I actually want to write something about? Or is it like life experiences that like sparks the interest?
Bit of everything. I mean, I do have a note. Like I've got a crazy note that's just like, you know, like when you scroll down, like the sidebar is still loading. Like it's that long of just like things that, as I'm going about life, I've just like put in it. See, I saw it on the side of a bus or whatever it is. And then I have like a more like focused note that's more like if I'm actually listening or looking for this month's ideas, like this is a song title, you know. But then for like my own artistry, I am trying my best to like have like conversations with the guys and then write from experience, because otherwise, you know, I want to at least when people listen to Goodboys music, like they can know that like it has a piece of me in it.
Yeah.
And you know, we don't take outside songs. It is really our songs. And so like one of our new songs is called Traffic. And we're actually having a similar conversation to this about like how do we approach the same themes that everybody wants to talk about, but in like a different way. And the concept is essentially like all your thoughts just getting backed up like traffic.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound as cool when I said it out loud right now, but I promise you it is cool.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I think like over the last couple of years, I've really gotten into country music.
Right.
And like, I think there's literally like one subject. Like every country artist is gonna probably, well, they're never gonna listen to this podcast anyway. But it's like the sad dude with his wife's left him or wife's died.
Yeah.
His truck is there and he's got his dog and he's sat on his truck fucking twiddling away in his banjo.
In the Bible.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, what more do we need in life?
Yeah.
Well, not that I drink and I'm not really religious, but still, sounds great. But like, it's a strange process, the songwriting game of like, how do you come up with new topics that makes a great song that everyone can relate to, because you want everyone to relate to the song in their own way, and then turn it into an electronic record?
Well, so I guess that's been the interesting journey with this new sort of project that we're putting out. Is that's where it started essentially, is this conversation of like, we can't, I feel like I had got to a point with Goodboys where I was like, I've said it, it's done. Like, I don't know how many more of this type of song we can do. And that's why I started making like other music, just as like what's the new angle in here? There's got to be another angle in. And we realized that like so many people were remixing like Empire of the Sun, for example. Um, and so everybody has a hunger for these kind of like big records with sort of, otherworldly almost feel and theme, and they're talking about like big things.
Yeah.
Um, and we basically identified it as like positive melancholy. So
Yeah.
like, which is our like little writer phrase. I don't know if anyone else has called it that, but the idea of like when you listen to MGMT or something, it sounds overwhelmingly positive. It's
Yeah.
like, "Da-na-na-na-na,"
Yeah.
and then you listen to the lyrics, and it's like about like doing drugs and pretending, and then getting models for wives, but it's all vacuous. Like,
Yeah.
and so we like tried to capture some of that. And it's been like really refreshing as a different approach, because there are things that you can talk about and like creative license you can take if you come into it as like a band
Yeah.
than if you come into it as a DJ.
Yeah. Totally. I think there's limitations as a DJ, right? And I
Yeah.
think it's so strange that there are, because the culture of electronic music, there's no limitations apart from a kick drum, right? And I truly believe that. I think it's actually the least limiting genre out there, because it's like we have the ability to use anything in our, whereas like even let's say for instance like MGMT, like guitar, drums, synth, right? Like bass. And I know that's music, but like I feel like in the culture of like what electronic music came from, it seems that it's like just going into a way that you can only do that of course you can do what you want, but when we're talking commerce, there's like a pocket that you need to hit that in for it to be any level of success.
No, I agree. But then I think that there are pockets that have had like commercial success in the past.
Yeah.
That are just not currently at the forefront, and maybe there's some like there's some value in looking at those pockets. And like I mean, for me it's just natural, because I grew up listening to like these like MGMT. This is like the period I grew up in.
It was our childhood,
it was
our teenagehood, right? Like we're similar ages.
Formative years.
Yeah. Hot chip.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that's kind of a natural thing to draw on. And everyone says music moves in cycles, but hopefully there can be a cycle now of like music that we loved growing up, and sounds from that period. But it's interesting, because I think with like digital audio workspaces becoming so easy to access on everyone's laptops, I think everything went like, oh, you just make it in Logic, you make it in Serum, you make it in Ableton. But then all of those bands that we love from that period are like, none of them recorded any of the stuff like that. And so like, you can hear like the velocity differences from how they've played in a synth, for example. So we kind of tried to access that a little bit, and we've like gone, well, a DJ is going to remix this. So everything we send them should be recorded
as a band.
There's nothing, there's no point in us doing something on Serum, because they're just going to replace it. So everything's analog synth or like guitar and played in, so it's a bit wonky. The vocals aren't tuned.
I love that, man. I genuinely love that, because I think for a long time, well, probably the last 3 years, how I've been making records is like, maybe not, I don't know when this podcast is going out, but maybe next year or this year, depending on when this podcast goes out, is like I'm using a lot of like samples again. But what I did for a long time was actually create a song and then sample that song.
And
I think that's realistically what you're kind of saying, is like, let's bring it back. But again, it's going back to that electronic music, is like, why has it become so formulaic? Because there's it, and I'm massively generalizing, right? Like, put on a Mr. G record. He's just brought out this new record. I wish I could play it because it's insane. And I know how he writes music, and he writes music all on hardware.
Right.
And you hear it when he like unmutes the hats on his mixer, right?
Yeah.
And there's like almost like a slight fade up, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that you don't get that in writing in Logic or Ableton. You could try, but you just don't get it. Just how the bass comes in and the swing, and I think that's, I don't want to sound like that grumpy old man, but like I feel like we miss the human aspect of in electronic music now, because realistically electronic music was just written on synths. And like, drum machines which were programmed, but like bass lines weren't always programmed, and like the like weird unquantized bass notes that just sit in the pocket, and you're like, oh, it's so wrong, but it's so right.
Yeah. And if you think about even like Daft Punk and Justice and these guys that have like blended the two worlds seamlessly, and they're icons for a reason, right? Like, do you think we can have a band like Daft Punk again, or Justice again? Like, do you think there's like the ability in the electronic space to have that? I'd like to think so, but I think the first things first is like these bands released albums, right? And they released bodies of work, and obviously for yourself, like you are doing that. But so like, you know, you've got to convince a record label, like, we're doing an album, you know. And I think they're like united around like a concept of art, a concept of this, concept of that. And I think if somebody were to do it, they'd have to be genius at holding people's attention long enough to like, you know, I guess like Gorillaz' new album is sort of semi in that world. Obviously but they're still like an act with so much history that they like deserve the attention.
I mean, even with Gorillaz, I'm seeing like people releasing, like DJs releasing remixes of it, remakes of it.
Yeah.
Like I know Obnob and Om Nom, they just sent me, it'll be out now, but like they've done a remix of Dare, or an edit of Dare.
Yeah.
Which is now an original. They like resung it all and everything like that. I know Leighton Giordani's just released the remix of Dare as well. And it's like, are these bands seeing the pros on a commercial level of like having DJs again remix their commercial records to bring them to a modern audience?
Well, I'm hoping that's the retirement plan for me. And
someone sample your record, and
please. Not yet. Don't get any ideas.
I still want to tour.
But also I think as a songwriter, like I think those records are amazing, and they're my points of reference. Same. And they're my inspiration. So I have nothing bad to say, but I do feel like if as you look out at the landscape, it's like all the DJs are remixing these kind of songs, like it challenges me. I'm like, man, I want to try and write a song that's as good as Dare, or I want to, you know. And I do sit and watch Damon Albarn interviews, and I do sit and like try and understand what his approach is to sort of, you know, I don't know, gain some of the gold from what he's saying. And like, I mean, I've got a few opinions. I've got like a couple of big songwriting opinions at the moment that I don't know if I think the same as 6 months, but one of my big things is like, I think Google Docs is like killing songwriting.
Yeah.
Like the idea that we came into a room to collaborate, and then we create this shared thing, but it means that instantly everyone is sat looking at their phone. And I don't care what you say, like you do see notifications coming in, you do see texts, you do see messages, you see emails, right? So like everyone is all of a sudden completely alienated from one another. We're not looking at each other.
Yeah.
You know,
wow.
And even like when you change something on Google Docs, you delete the old
Forget
thing.
it, right?
You backspace. If you have like I wish I have my notebook here with me. It's at the studio. But like if you have a notebook where you've just like put a line through something and scribbled it out, when it comes to like changing and tweaking, like you have all of your other ideas there.
Yeah.
And like you might see something all the way over here that you're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And I think things like that, where it's like you watch the old videos of like people coming into the studio to collaborate, and they're looking at each other and they're listening, which you also don't have to do as much if you have it there. You don't need to remember the lyric if you've got it there,
Wow, that's so true, man. I've never thought about that. If you are looking to get into the music industry, whether that's as a producer, DJ, songwriter, or you just want to learn more about the craft, Point Blank Music School is the place to do it. They've got courses both online and in person, covering everything you need to know to level up your skills. They've even just launched a brand new 2 and 4 year degree program in music production and audio engineering at the LA campus. And for you lucky listeners of this podcast, you can get 20% off selected courses when you use the code word WillClarke20 at checkout. Hit the link in the description and use the code word WillClarke20 at checkout. Point Blank Music School. Power up your music career, people. What does a no phone and no internet studio feel like nowadays?
Yeah.
Right? Like a rule of like, guys, phones off.
Yeah.
Like phones don't even come in the room. There's a box outside. Put your phones in the box.
Yeah.
Like turn Wi-Fi off.
We've been doing pen and paper policy.
Wow.
Like and then when the final lyric is done, you just do a final write out. And the other reason was because I went to like a gallery and I saw like the handwritten lyrics of the Beatles. And I just, afterwards I thought to myself, like, my grandkids aren't going to open up a box and go like, oh, there's his Google Drive from like 2025 of his songs from such and such a place. Whereas if I have all of my stuff in these books, and even when I go home, my mum has kept all of my like songs from when I was a kid, you know, that I've had written in these notebooks and the music notes that I'd written out. And it's cool even for me to look at it. So
tangible. It was so funny you say that about the gallery, because I was literally, as you were saying about writing on pen and paper, I was like, my business brain was like, well, actually, this is if one of these records does well, sell that. In 100 years time, your great grandkids could be like, yeah, I could buy a house with that.
Donate it to the Hard Rock Cafe.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right. And there's a real value, like there's emotional value, there's obviously like real value. But it doesn't exist if it's just some cloud thing.
I love that. I have a notebook by my in my studio, by my laptop. And I don't write lyrics. I'm not a songwriter in that sense. I wish I was. But I write my list to do in it. Yeah. My to-do list. And it always feels so much nicer just like writing it down, tick, writing it down, tick. Boom. Like let a line through it. And even like on podcasts, when I'm doing the online podcast, I do like a bit of research beforehand and I just make notes. And then I can like look over, like I'm looking over at the iPad, but it's like that note is always going to be there. And that once that book's full, I can go get another book, if you know what I mean. And it's memories. And yeah, you're right, man.
But I'm not like, I'm not a Luddite, you know, like no technology at all. Like on the other end, I'm like trying to figure out how I engage with like AI in production. So it's more just a case of like trying to figure out at what points in the process are you involving or not involving the technology and why.
But I think it's like if we're talking about the process of writing songs and we're looking back at like how did the Justices, how did the Daft Punks, even like the Pharrells, the Beatles, like the legends, right? Yeah. Like there was zero technology in the room. And I think, yeah, the power of AI is absolutely amazing. We'll in 5 years' time. But also, can songs be made with technology? Like, do we need technology to make great songs? And the answer is no. Can we make songs that last forever with technology? Of course we can, but are they as good? I don't know.
Yeah, and also in the age of AI, will the pushback be that people enjoy like the humanness of songs, like the fact that it is wonky and it is like it's like, why does the orchestra plugin sound different to an orchestra? It's like the millions of tiny mistakes and like not quite doing things in time is the thing that makes it feel like living, breathing.
Like the dissonance of things.
For real.
Yeah.
And so you kind of think, I don't know, like maybe we're going to come full circle on that. And it will be like almost there's two types of music.
Yeah.
It's like there's human tunes and like the other, I don't know.
But yeah, I was in a session the other day, and for me it was like the best things, which everyone says, and it sounds cliche, but it's always the happy accidents. So you like turn something on or you drag something and it's still playing, and then you hear a clip of it and oh, that's the bit, right?
Yeah.
But like that doesn't happen when creating music in AI.
No.
It doesn't happen in because realistically what technology is doing is taking the human element and making it just perfect.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I mean, even if you think about like sampling, like in the real sense of like, MPC sampling, like you don't time those samples. So you're playing a song in a totally different BPM, but the way that those rhythms are like interacting with your rhythm is the thing that makes it interesting, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's ways that's still using technology, but
of course,
you're using it in like a human way. I think.
Go listen to Jay Dilla.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think it's also like when I hear a song from you, I know it's you.
Thank you.
Right? But no, but like you have like a unique sonic of how you sound, how you produce your records. Like I know it's you, right? Even if it's like you on somebody else's record, like I know it's you. When you played Carte Blanche, like I was like, that's you.
Right.
As artists, not all of us have that, but a lot of us start slowly. People can be like, oh, that's a Will Clarke record, or that's whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's a Jay Dilla record. Does that get lost when you're making records using AI?
Well, the argument for would be it's the skill of your personal prompt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying to engage with it, and so like on the total opposite side of what I'm saying about writing on paper, like I'm actually somebody who's like, I think if we don't start using it as songwriters, then you will potentially be left in the dust. So
totally agree.
I think you've got to like engage with it. My hot take is like if you've written the lyric, written the melody, and performed it and then you use the AI to like do something that you can't do. So for example, for me, like I've got very limited range as a vocalist. I'm not like the greatest like technical singer.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at like capturing the feel of something though. So I can perform of it like this, and now I can sound like this whole range of different voices, which as a songwriter is amazing because it means that I could showcase the song in like a manner that I would never have been able to showcase it before. And therefore it's like opened up like a whole world of different songs I can write. Now I don't just have to write songs that I could sing essentially. But I would say that that's very different to just going like, ChatGPT, like generate me some lyrics, or like here's a title, generate me lyrics.
Yeah.
Personally, I like really not about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard the like 50 Cent AI soul records?
Yeah. I mean, they sound great.
Insane. Like I listened to them more than I'd listen to a 50 Cent record.
Yeah.
But then again, this is also my thing, is they're taking reference.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're going back to what Motown was, right? And soul and funk. If that didn't happen, if that wasn't created by human, would technology be able to create that? Like, because it's still a human prompt, right? I'm typing in, turn this 50 Cent song into a Goodboys record, right? Like, there's two references there.
Yeah. But I guess that's then the responsibility of like us now as like creators in this like backdrop is to push the boundaries and go, well, if I'm worried about AI is only referencing these things that have already been created.
Yeah.
So then my responsibility should be to look at creating something that's never been created.
Yeah.
Instead of me also referencing old stuff. And, you know, at that point I'm competing with AI essentially. You know, I was thinking about that melody, the Ray, like, I would like a ring, I would like a ring, I would like a ring. I was thinking that AI would never land at that conclusion,
No.
right? So in a way, Ray's safe, right? She's like, even though she's still got like Motown flashes in her music, like the way that she's doing it is totally fresh and totally unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what there's that Tyler Creator quote as well, isn't there? It's like, I'm not worried about AI because I never do the same thing twice. So
yeah. Great. He's great. Have you read the Lionel Richie book?
No.
I've just finished it. Well, I listened to it. I don't really read books, but I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And it's insane, man.
Really?
You have to it's long as well. It was like 14 hours.
Okay.
So it's like a proper
doorstopper.
Yeah, man. It's well good though. And it's like he was talking about how he learned to write songs. And he was like, I just learned from the greats. He was like, he was very fortunate that he had a voice and could play the keys, right, from a young age. But like, he couldn't write songs. And he was signed to Motown. And what did he do? Just go and sit in a room with Marvin Gaye.
Imagine. Imagine
that. Do you think that happens nowadays?
I mean, I was very fortunate in that when I started writing, there was a guy called Ruben Morgan who is like, in terms of like contemporary gospel music, he would be one of the like greats.
Really?
And
not heard of him.
He's somebody that I knew, and he really invested in me. And so he would like listen to my songs and tell me how bad they were, and you know, and then eventually grew into a relationship where we would write together. And I think that he was probably the single biggest influence on me as a writer. And so I feel fortunate that I really was mentored by somebody actually.
Yeah.
And I did get to have a lot of like face-to-face time with somebody who in that circle would be considered one of the like, you know, the goats.
Yeah.
And so then like, I guess then it goes on to the next thing of like, okay, but then so who do we mentor, and like, and are people willing to be mentors?
Do they want to be, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's also interesting that you're sat in the electronic world as well. And it's like, do people even like it's very, although it's a very collaborative place, it also isn't.
Yeah.
In a sense that like, okay, you write a song, it gets pitched, somebody takes it. They generally, if it's a big artist, like a really big artist, they're not going in the studio themselves. They're sending it to their producer that then gets remade. Then they're sending it back to the artist. The artist is going, yeah, I like it. Try this, try that. It then gets sent back to you. Like, where it's a conveyor belt, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's difficult because in an ideal world, we would have everybody in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Like, and like, that's the dream. And actually, like, to make sure that people know that we're not like when we've collaborated on records, we have gotten into the room and we have sat around and like worked on stuff together. Like we came to your studio.
Yeah. Didn't finish the record, did we?
No, but we tried, and that's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think like that is the ideal, but then, you know, there's the business side of it and the scheduling side of it.
It is a rule that I set myself, that I'm either sampling something that like is either unknown or known, right? Or if I'm writing a song, I'm in the room.
Yeah, I think so. And I was working with a DJ the other day, and he's making an album, and I said the same thing to him. I was like, he said he wanted to be in the room for everything.
Yeah.
And I said, I think that's brilliant. And I think you go one step further. I'm like, if I'm listening to like a Will Clarke album, like, you know, I know that like I'm getting like you in that album, right?
Yeah.
And so you know, he's not a lyric writer, the guy that I was writing with. It's like, okay, but at least give me like broad parameters of
Yeah.
like, what are you thinking about? Like, what do you care about? What is
Yeah.
like a real thing for you right now? So then, you know, when even for him, if nobody else listens to it, when he listens back in 10 years' time, it's like, oh, I was in my blue era,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And there are contemporary artists that like the Charlie XCX thing, right? It's like, oh, she's in her brat era right now.
Yeah.
I know we can't like, obviously there's a huge amount of marketing that goes into that, etc., etc. But that would be the equivalent of like painters in the old days,
I
where it's
agree.
like, yeah, he's in his
Yeah.
blue period. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah,
agree, and I love that, and I also actually love the marketing behind it.
yeah, me too.
Like I talk about that to my team, the Charlie XCX Brat era of like it was marketed so well.
Unbelievable.
Like there was was it last year?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing that color green.
No.
You couldn't go on Instagram without some chick or some dude saying they're in their Brat era.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't.
No.
Like it was just done so well. And I think that then also leads on to the question of like art and commerce.
Yeah.
Like when does the commerce leave the art behind? Because I'll be honest, I could probably name one record off that album, right? And it was a great album. Like
Yeah.
it was genuinely great, and she killed, right? And the productions were amazing. But like, when does the commerce actually overtake the art?
Or do you like look at it as like the idea of brat? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that maybe like the cynic in me goes the commerce, and then the artist in me goes like, actually she created
That
like an
is the art.
idea that people
Yeah.
could like tap into, and that was like a real feeling that people need, like globally people needed in that moment, was like to break out of, you know, what maybe a post-COVID world where we've gone back into structures and things, and people needed to break free, or I don't know, like it is interesting though, because where, like you say, where do you draw the line? But I don't know. I want to believe.
I think it's also about telling a story.
Yeah.
It's something that I don't think I did well with my album. I didn't tell the story enough. I didn't like people knew Will Clarke as like the dude that just writes bangers in the club, right? Like no one wants a like emotional breakbeat record from Will Clarke, right? In the grand scheme of what my fans know as me, right? That is something that I listen to, but like I think it's also just a way for we need to learn as artists to understand how to tell the story of like our journeys and where we're at in our lives. And whether that's having a great team behind us that can elevate that story to the point of it becoming a success. Because I do generally believe that. I feel like if you talk about I don't know, the MK record, right? The Dior, right? Banger. Like honestly, like I'm so happy he's back writing MK music, right?
Yeah,
It
me
makes
too.
me really fucking happy. But you hear the record and it's a great record, right? I don't automatically go, that's a number one, right?
Yeah.
But I hear it once, great. Hear it twice, great. Hear it 20 times, number one.
Yep.
Right? And there's a level of marketing that happens with that. It's the same with all the records you write, right? With especially the big ones, right? It's like the first time you hear it, you're like, yeah, great. But after the 20th time you've heard it on the radio or in multiple places, it's like
different formats.
It's like this is actually a hit now, right? And I feel like how many times have you listened to your favorite band's second album? When you first listen to it, you're like, this is it.
Yeah.
But now I need to actually give it time.
Yeah.
I need to like let it breathe. And now you prefer it to the first album. How do you think we can do that in a world where every 6 weeks people are releasing a new record?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there are certain huge artists that can do that. Then like there's maybe just below that top tier of artists, like the friends that I have in that sphere, when I look at their release schedules, they are actually releasing a lot more sparse
Yeah.
than what we would like associate with like the typical strategy. And I think it's those artists that have the budget to spend, like that are but aren't like your, you know, huge DJs that
Yeah.
can just add their name
Dumb
to
dollars.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are doing like longer plays now, and like some of the records that, you know, I've written or been part of with people, they are like, you know, 12-week,
Yeah.
like, which I know in the grand scheme of things isn't that
Isn't
long,
long.
but compared to a lot of marketing strategies, that is a long strategy. So I think taking a bit more time over it, like really getting it to radio,
Yeah.
getting it out, like beyond, because there's nothing worse than for me if you as an artist you've put your heart and soul into something, and then it's like, well, we'll see if anyone makes any TikToks to it. Oh, they didn't. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
And you think like, hang on a minute, like that's a great record. I love that
Yeah.
record. Surely we could do like something a bit more, right? And part of it is on us. Like, I came back from that writing trip where we wrote all of the new Good Boy stuff for next year, and I can remember I walked through the door of my house and I was like, oh my goodness, we should have filmed that, because now the whole story of the whole writing of the thing we didn't capture.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, there's still like, we still need to finish the records off and re-record bits of vocal and stuff. So we'll obviously capture that. But I think almost starting out and thinking of like from day one, before you even go into it, like, how are we telling the story of making the record? You know, like the TikToks that do well of it's like, oh, what's this guy doing? And then it cuts into the actual footage of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Basically the music version of that.
Yeah. It's so amazing how where we're at now that telling the story is the key.
Mm.
When it wasn't, like the telling the story was always the documentary that would come 30 years after the album.
Yep.
I remember buying Linkin Park Meteora, and I bought the deluxe edition, and in the deluxe edition came like a DVD.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole making of it.
Yeah.
And I watched that so much, and I was like, oh, how has they done that, and how they've done that, and like the whole process of just like that made me a bigger fan.
Yeah.
Right, of like you're getting to know the artist, and realistically, we're now in it of like that's how we need to tell the story.
Yeah. And there's specialist things like, not to mention another thing, but like tape notes or something. You know, I listen to tape notes all the time. But
It's great podcast. I love that podcast.
Yeah, and I can remember like maybe showing my age. I used to buy NME every week, and there were interviews of like either people giving an opinion on the album, or the band talking about how they made it. And you know, because you had limited information at that point, it's like you kind of just took them at their word.
Yeah.
Like if they said we recorded the whole thing analog, I haven't seen any pictures, I haven't seen any videos. I just assumed, yeah, they did record the whole thing analog.
Yeah.
Like, who knows if they actually did, right? Now you kind of just have to act, like show, like don't tell me, show me.
Yes, we're in a really interesting time. I'm excited about it though. I think it can go good. I think where we're at is everyone's scrambling and everyone's trying to work it out. But I generally think it's like labels don't have a fucking clue. Like no one has a fucking clue.
No.
But when no one has a clue, like great art gets created.
100%. And also, you like in this like really evolving landscape, there is like there's just no rules.
Yeah.
Like I've had some songs that I've been part of that have contained bits of AI, and like even like watching the labels try and figure out what to do with that.
Yeah.
And like, do we need to get it replayed by humans? Like imagine that. Like that's a real conversation that I've been a part of. It's like a human has put in a source that is learned off human information. AI has made something from it, and now a human has had to replay what AI played that was then sampled into a human's record. It's so like meta. There's so many layers to that.
And then how does that work when it comes to like publishing and like
Performance rights, yeah. Who's the performer? That's part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, let's say I sing something and it goes through someone else's voice.
Yeah.
Am I the performer? Are they the performer?
Especially when the voice has been learned by AI from a human.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it is actually somebody's voice.
I'm going to be really careful how I tell this, but there's.
I love that setup.
Yeah. Hang on a second. There's like a well-known artist.
Yeah.
Who took a song from a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And she had sung the demo through that artist, an AI version of that artist that somebody had made online, which is definitely not legal.
Yeah.
The artist then liked it because she could hear herself singing it, right?
Oh no, I know.
But then the verses she could sing, but the chorus just wasn't as good. So the chorus is the writer singing through the AI of that original singer's voice. Does that make sense? So the singer is singing the verses and the chorus is the writer through AI. And so then it's been a whole discussion of like, well, who gets the performance rights? Because like the writer, and as far as I'm aware, she did end up getting performance rights, even though you don't hear her voice at all on the record. What a crazy time and situation for us to be in.
The re-sings that are done, who gets the rights to the re-sings where it sounds like the original artist, but it's not the original artist?
Yeah, I know. Crazy. And, you know, I think I just have to go, I'm sure people have done it to me. So,
yeah.
You like, what goes around comes around, right?
Yeah, do it and ask, what's the saying? Like,
yeah, ask for forgiveness. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. How does being nominated for a Grammy feel? And do you think awards are needed in art?
It was very surreal with the Goodboys nom because it was our first song. So
that's so mental.
Yeah, it is so mental. And like if I'm gonna be totally honest, it didn't feel like we'd earned it as an artist.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't done the graft. Like I feel like if we got nominated as an artist now, I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
I feel like as a writer, I would interpret it differently because I had been writing for a long time and I had, really been trying and getting better at my craft. But you're not nominated as a writer.
Yeah.
Now they recognize it with a certificate, but the writers aren't nominated. The artists are nominated. Yeah. So it was amazing. And there's some stories I could tell about the after parties.
Tell me, come on.
we went into one. It was in allegedly Dame Mirren's house.
Yeah.
And when we came in, I remember looking around and thinking, wow, this is crazy. I feel like I'm what's going on? And then I realized that the walls were lined with naked people in body paint painted to the same pattern as the wallpaper. Yeah. Like how do you even come up with that idea? Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Just to give it a brief idea. And I'm just this kid that's been thrown in, who's never been to a music industry party ever. Who
was that?
Diplo was there.
Diplo's always
there. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it, but he's from what I've been told, every Grammy after party he's there. Everyone.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Ethan would be able to tell you more. That I'm so bad at knowing who people are. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. And the other thing that was crazy was...
Okay, people, we all know running ads is key to getting your music heard. But unless you're a neuroscientist, running them on Meta is an absolute nightmare. Until I found Intelligent. They have built a platform where in literally 6 clicks, your ads can be live and you can watch your Spotify streams go up and your Beatport chart positioning go up. It's actually mental what they've done. I genuinely love this product. And we are giving you 30% off a subscription for life. So if you click the link in the description, use the code word WILL, that's WILL, and you'll get 30% off a lifetime subscription. Go check it out. Intelligent.
As we walked up the drive to the house, I like felt someone grab my leg and there was nobody there. And then I realized the trees were people with like tree, like evergreen kind of tree suits on. Yeah. How do you, like, what party company is speccing that, right?
That's so good.
Yes, it was crazy. It definitely was a unbelievable period of time. And I'm so grateful for it because it's opened so many doors that like I wouldn't have been able to open otherwise.
I was going to say that does being nominated. I've loosely been nominated, but I don't say because it's like I was nominated. I wasn't nominated. This is the thing. Is I have this argument with my manager because they like to put it in my bio, and I'm like, please don't.
Yeah,
because it's like I wrote a record on an album that was nominated,
right,
and it was the biggest record on the album, but the single wasn't nominated. So I'm like, I've not been nominated, so please don't say. But like, realistically,
you have. It's different because you. I guess for you as an artist,
I look at it very differently. Yeah.
I feel that, and actually, I have like a second. I have another similar situation to you where like I was part of like a big collective. There was like 20 of us that were all writing songs together for this project. And so I have a certificate that's like member of nominated group. Yeah, like I think that counts.
Yeah.
Like
we're like clutching onto like straws right now. I don't know.
I mean, but and by the way, like Champagne Problems, like what,
of course,
but like amazing honor, and like it is amazing, and I hope you feel the same. Like to even be like in the running for something like this, like, it is like, and to have the recognition from your peers is so cool.
Yeah, it's something that like I never really thought about until I sat down with my now manager Ryan when we started working together in like 2019, and we were doing like a goal sheet and like what do we want to achieve, and like he was like, do you want a Grammy? And I'm like, I've never really thought about it.
No, same.
Because I always looked at Grammys as like the Michael Jacksons of the world, right? And like the big lot. And like even in the electronic sense of like the people that I look up to, like the Chemical Brothers and shit like that, right? Like that's people that have really changed culture.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever done that. And I don't know if I ever will, right? Like it's a goal, but like I don't know if I ever will. And I guess because it's me, I look at myself as a very different thing than what others would look at, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you're up against Beyonce.
Yeah, who's a dancer? Oh, she's country now.
Yeah. It was never a thing until that day when he was like, "What about Grammy?" And I was like, "Yeah, chuck it on the list."
Yeah.
But is it a failure if you don't get it? No. Because there's so many artists that have never got one that have achieved unbelievable things. But
I guess for artists like yourself, like it's not like your main goal, right? It wouldn't be it wouldn't even enter into the top 5. I assume.
Yeah.
There's so many like, because I like, what would be more important to yourself, like if you got a Grammy or if you were like known in 30 years as like one of the great techno acts?
Yeah.
right? I don't know what would be more.
Yeah, it would probably be the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be the latter.
I mean, ideally, you'd have
Both.
both. Yeah.
But I don't know. You even like look at today as like, has John Summit been? Has he won a Grammy?
I don't know.
Like if we're looking at like the people that are the biggest in our scene,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I don't think he has. Like maybe nommed,
Yeah, I'm
but
not sure.
like I think that's the thing that is strange. It's like,
But that he might have by the time this comes
is
out,
very
because I think
true.
the nominations come out today or tomorrow.
Oh,
so,
do they?
Yeah.
Do they? That's amazing. Oh yeah, that's the weird thing that I don't like about it, is that the potential nomination lists.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if about it. So sorry if you've actually posted about this, but it's like everybody that's like potentially nominated, and I'm like,
You can potentially nominate yourself. Yeah. I know.
like every manager is potentially nominating their artist.
Yeah.
And if they're not, then they're a manager. So Ryan, if you're listening, you're up.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
But even in the voting stage, I think people don't know that it's not like fan voted and it's not like a board of judges.
No.
It's people who have previously been nominated for a Grammy are the only people that can vote for who wins the Grammy.
Yeah. Or there is a board though, right?
I think there is a board.
You can apply to be on the board.
Yeah.
So I know Christiana, who manages Black Coffee. I know she's on the board. Like, she's a good friend of mine, and she's on the board, but she got asked to be on the board.
Right.
But there is still like a ton of people that decide.
Yeah, and it's interesting because if you have a good network of people who are, are nominated, or, like, not sure if you're supposed to say this, but some labels and publishers send out an email to everybody who they know has a nomination of like, hey guys, when you do your voting, like, these are the people that we want to vote for. And it's interesting that I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that, but it's more that I don't think people think of that when they see
the
the Grammys.
bureaucracy of the music industry, right?
Yeah.
Like there's still gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And I know in this world where technology is where we're at, like there's still gatekeepers in this industry. And I think there should. I don't have an issue with it, because I think there is a slight quality control. And there's slight powers, which, some people would argue with that. Talking of teams, I know you've gone through teams over the years.
I'm unmanageable. No, yeah, we've changed a couple of times.
Tell me about that. Like, what's that process?
It's a nightmare. It's like the worst thing you can go through as an artist. Not if you're like me, and like my skills lie like primarily in creating. I have like almost no administrative or like I can't remember if it's left brain or right brain, but I'm all left brain, right? When you change, the whole point of having management as an artist is that, obviously they're going out to bat for you, but also they carry the like hardship of all of that side of things. So you are free to create. When you change management, you have to do it all. Yeah. And so the new management, it doesn't matter who it is. The new management don't know how to access any of your stuff. They don't know what songs you've written. They don't know any of your catalog. That you have to tell them all of that stuff, and you have to tell them how to access your accounting. And it's like a 6-month process, because every time something new comes up, it's like, oh, and this thing, oh, and this thing. So we've changed management. We've had 3 managers over the years.
That's a lot in a small amount of time.
That is a lot in a small amount of time. And hopefully we're settled now.
Yeah. What's the reasoning of changing?
The first change, I actually I still like those guys. I think they were great. We were on a roster where there were a whole load of big acts. Yeah. And acts where we had crossover. So I think that it's just natural that we would never have been the priority for those guys. Yeah. And so, as far as I'm aware, there's no hard feeling there because of that.
It's just the facts, yeah.
The second management, I think, was probably just not the right one for us, and not, and now we're in a great situation, and like we've we've taken on a team. We have people who are like a guy who just focuses on live, like somebody who just does social media, the guys who just do like rights and catalog and those kind of things. Um, Management is like you don't know how much like good management benefits you until you have good management, I
Yeah.
think. Not to say the other guys weren't good, but they were very different for what I think we were looking for. So
I think it's like any relationship as well, because I think what we want as artists changes on like through our periods in life, right?
yeah,
When we're in our blue era, we need management that can do this,
yeah,
right? And that can manage us through this situation. Um, and when we're in our red era, we need management that can like evolve into this and go into do these things. And I think as human beings, we all have like things that we're good and bad at. And you're gonna get that with managers. You're still dealing with human beings, right? It's that they're not perfect as much as we want them to be.
yeah.
It's such a weird concept because I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this a lot this year. As artists, we put so much value into the team around us, right? And it's kind of scary. I'd never thought about it like this, but realistically, a manager can go pick up another artist, right?
Mm,
The artist, if you get dropped by a manager or if you leave a manager, you're on your own.
yeah,
Like that manager is on to the next one, or probably has 4 or 5 other acts that they can then go and concentrate on.
yeah.
What's that feeling when you are managerless?
I think one of the big things is you are privy to conversations that you're not normally privy to as an
Yeah,
artist. I wouldn't put myself out there as like a super sensitive guy,
yeah,
but for like negotiating splits on a song, for example,
brutal.
it's brutal. And when you're negotiating as yourself, there's like a different level of like righteous anger. It's like, no, I know I did this, or like, I
Yeah,
know I
yeah,
did
yeah,
that,
yeah,
or
yeah.
and like I might take me like 4 hours typing up and redrafting an email. Like, no, I'm gonna tell them like exactly how this came about. I've like honestly, like I'm not super proud of it, but I've even done like PowerPoints of like, here's exactly what I did on this song.
I love that though. It's
But
passion.
it is passion. But then you realize like, oh, actually, like a manager is doing that, but just isn't telling you.
Yeah,
So um in order to protect you and protect
yeah,
and allow you to like do the thing which you're great at, which is making the art. And they're going into war and fighting, and even over things like fees. And I think that having management, they probably maybe this is more my demeanor, but they would ask for things that I would never ask for. I'd be so
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
embarrassed to
yeah.
like ask for that thing. Um, and Ethan and I, having been through that process, we were with a friend recently talking about exactly this. And he was like so wound up about uh like a negotiation situation.
Yeah,
And we were like, dude, you just stood too close to it.
yeah,
And I'm saying that from like love and experience. I've also been too close to it. And
yeah,
that's the value. Aside from the other like value adds that managers bring, it's just you just need a buffer sometimes. Even like if I send a song, like imagine if I sent a song to Ryan and I don't have a manager, and Ryan replied and was like, yeah, man, like this just isn't good. Like,
yeah,
right. I'm now as an artist, I'm gonna go into my session today with like, oh, my songs suck, like
mm,
I suck. Whereas, if like my manager sent it to Ryan and they were like, oh, it's just not what we're looking for, like it's not the right vibe.
yeah,
I wouldn't even hear. Or
yeah,
they'd say, oh, Will's looking for this direction. They would like cushion me,
yeah,
like put me in
yeah,
like
yeah.
little cotton wool.
Do you like to be hands-on though as an artist? Like, do you like to know? Because it's a sucker for me, and I need to learn to be more like you. Because I'm so like in the conversation.
Right.
Like even with the manager, it's like I'm like, I want this, and Ryan's like, well, they don't think you're worth that. Like, So no.
Right,
It's like
right,
we
right.
have such a like openness between our relationship that maybe that's not actually healthy for my creativity or for me as an artist.
I think it's like different periods and different things that I think live is maybe a slightly different conversation.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you're the one that has to go and get on the plane,
Yeah.
and you're the one that, has to stay in the hotel and not be around like mates, right? So I definitely am a bit more in those conversations
Yeah.
because otherwise, and this is great, but they'd book you 365 days of the year, double shows, right? If the offers were there, because
I
they
would take it though. That's the thing. I'm a psycho.
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
If I could tour 5 days a week, I'd do it.
Yeah. But I think there's a balance to, because you would tour five, the shows, it has to be like a certain show
Of
and
course.
like
It has
at a
to be
certain
good.
value and
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I'm definitely more involved in those conversations.
Yeah.
I'm involved in the conversations of like, and again, this is a very privileged position to be in, but let's say more than one artist is interested in taking a song,
Yeah.
like, where do I think it would be better to go? Um, but I try and just, with our team, I'll have like broad guidelines of like, this is roughly what we look for with like a song negotiation.
Yeah.
If it's like friends or people whose art I love and I want to engage with them, and they're not like, the biggest artists in the world, but I love their art,
Yeah.
then obviously, I'm not going to come in with like this is what we're expecting. But yeah, I do generally try and stay out of it,
Yeah.
just because. But I think that maybe I am really sensitive. Maybe I'm.
No, but
Yeah.
I like that because I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I can take what I get told, like, I think it does affect things,
Yeah.
right? But I'm very good at, and I don't know if it's good or if it's just a coping mechanism of just going, is what it is,
Yeah.
right? Especially in a time when, if I'm in like a down period of my career where I don't feel like things are going where I want them to go, it's like, okay, is what it is. Like, suck it up, dude. Um, I
But
also don't know if that's healthy.
but do you have collaborators that where you like gas each other? Like I have a guy that I work with a lot, and like when we're working, it's like, this is sick. This is the best thing ever. Even though
Yeah.
it might, might not be, but
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah, because you've got to
Um,
balance it, right?
I guess so. I guess that's the whole studio. I think that's the like happy place,
Yeah.
right? Of like, I love long conversations like this.
Yeah.
Like I love this, right?
Yeah.
And I love just being in the studio. Like, I wish when we did our session we had longer, right?
Yeah.
I wish there was like a process of like, let's do 2-3 days, let's go for dinner, let's hang out, meet the
Yeah.
family, like make sick music, and if we make shit music, we've had a great time.
Exactly.
But I also love like being in the happy place of the studio of just grinding.
Yeah.
But I think like I love the business side of it, and I've always been hands on. But it does. I think it definitely affects your views or my views on my career.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think when we're saying like hands on or not hands on, like we're talking within like the 20%, like we're still hands on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I talk to like young artists and they're like, oh, when I get management, like, I'm like, no, 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 no. You still are gonna have to do everything,
Yeah.
right? Because you're like, if your manager puts an opportunity in front of you, you still have to do the opportunity. Your manager's not going to go into the studio and do it. And also, you've still got to keep bringing the same amount of
Yeah.
opportunities. They're adding value on top of what you're bringing. They're
Yeah.
not just going to do all the work for you.
Mhm.
Would be my opinion, and that's what I try and like say to people. It's not like this magic bullet. Like when I sign a record deal, everything's just going to work. No,
Yeah.
when you sign a record deal, you got to do triple the amount of TikToks. You got to do triple the amount of songwriting. It's the other way around.
Yeah, it really is. That's when the work starts.
Yeah,
Right, you hustle to get there, and then when you get there, you got to keep it.
yeah.
It's like you're only as good as your last record. Do you believe in that saying? Actually, you're only as good as your last record.
Uh, well, as somebody who had lots of success early on in their career, I think it would be. I think if I really believed that, I would struggle like day in day out because I'd
Yeah.
be chasing like the commercial success.
Yeah.
I think I look at it the other way around, and I'm like, I want to feel like from a creative stance that I've made something fresher, better, newer than the last thing. The thing that terrifies me is having had commercial success, like just trying to repeat that formula.
Yeah.
Um, and that is only going to produce diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel that way whether it's like your own song or whether like, oh, this song's hot on the radio, so I should make something like that.
Yeah.
That song's already hot, so there's no point.
Can't do it.
And so that my take is like you're only as good as your last song, meaning you're only as good as the songs that you're writing right now, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't see that as bad.
Yeah.
I think that should be an encouragement.
I agree.
You can write better songs, right?
I agree, man. Last time we hung out, you were about to do a like gospel thing in church.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys hit me up, and I wish I could come, but I couldn't have. I was on tour. Tell me about that whole process. Are you still doing things like that? Like, what events are you doing on that side of things?
Yeah, we are. So Ethan, who isn't here, but he's also in Good Boys, he has had an idea to do like a night of kind of like gospel, like faith-based music for people to come to. We essentially have found as we've gone through like the music industry that so many people grew up in like church or faith-based environments.
Yeah.
I think it's because you have so much access to instruments and like great musicians around you and encouragement and
Yeah.
playing in a team. But so many people unfortunately have had like bad experiences or life experiences which have pulled them away.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to create a space that like doesn't have any of the sort of negative connotations. So it's not a church. There's no like no one's gonna ask you for money. Like
No
there's
priests.
there's no priests. There's no priest, there's no preach.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
literally an hour and a half of like songs, and
Yeah.
you can engage with it as you want. Like it's kind of like supposed to be like a dip your toe thing. If you just want like a safe space or you want to sing some songs which are like from your past,
Yeah.
then that's great. If you want to come and you need to like, you're like more interested in that side of things, then it's also for those people. But at the end of the day, it's just super chilled, a whole load of people getting together and singing songs, kind of without any of the complicated side of that, like that
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing. Like I didn't realize how many people in our scene, that it would be helpful and useful for. People who have like a religious past and people who don't. Like
Yeah.
so many writers have come through on the nights, and just had what they've described to us as like overwhelmingly positive experiences. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's not something I thought we'd end up doing, but like it's nice to have like an intersection between our personal lives and our professional lives.
Totally. Yeah. I think it's so amazing, man. Like, I always get asked, like, are you religious because of the records I write?
Mm.
And I'm not, but I've always loved gospel music. I've always loved the concept of what church is about.
Yeah.
Um, when I used to live in Detroit, like every Sunday driving around the city, and there's a church on every corner in
Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah.
And just seeing what it does for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think we do that as electronic music artists in a live sense every weekend. And I've always compared church and a club as literally the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, what is church in the grand scheme of things? Take all the belief section out of it. It's bringing community together.
Yeah.
Right. And generally all doing something at the same time. Right.
Yeah.
Whether that's singing, whether that's praying, whatever that is, right? It's exactly the same as a nightclub.
Yeah.
And that moment when everyone sings the song back in the nightclub is literally a church moment. And it's I think we're so lucky that we get to do that on a daily basis or on a weekly basis.
It's true. And actually, there's a huge overlap in terms of lyrical
Massive.
content. You know, like if you think about Rufus the Soul, like, you know, looks like I'm on my knees again. You're like, that sounds.
There's two ways to look at that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, true. And I think he means in terms of prayer and surrender. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and like, I'm even thinking like the first thing that comes to mind is like your record, like so good to me. You've been so good to me. That's the gospel record, right? And I think the dance music is, well, to me, is like based around peace, love, unity, respect, right? And in theory, that's what churches should be based around as well.
Yeah.
Like we would have like the fruits of the spirit as like goodness, peace, love, joy, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control. And like actually it's not that different from Plur, which, you know, is
It's also
our
like,
whole thing.
go listen to old house records, like classic soulful house records, Frankie Knuckle records.
Yeah.
It's literally what they're saying.
Yeah, it is.
It's literally what they're saying.
And I think that's been interesting for me in like my career as a songwriter. I think I feel like I can sort of like switch between the two things like interchangeably almost. Like I don't see Christianity as something where you have to like talk about big ideas. I can talk about my personal experience. Like,
Of course.
I'm still somebody that like struggles, that has fears, that has missing, longing, despair.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the guy who I was talking about, Ruben, who was like my mentor, he said like the deep issues of the heart are common to everybody. So if you can tap into those, like everybody fears, everybody loves, everybody experiences loss, those themes are universal.
Yeah.
And so his take is the next step is, so, you know, we need to provide hope and like light into those situations. But I think as an artist, you can just describe them. Like,
Yeah, totally. I love that, man. Wrapping this up, I'm asking everybody, what one piece of advice would you like to throw out to the world today?
I think my piece of advice is like, finish something. Like everybody has the potential to create something great, but great artists finish things.
Let's wrap it up. Josh, thank you, mate. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Keep it up. See you soon.
See you soon.